Funhouse, coming soon from Universal Pictures. The Funhouse. It's a carnival of terror from Tobe Hooper, the director who terrified you with the Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Horror director Tobe Hooper had a very interesting career. Having cut his filmmaking teeth as a documentarian cameraman, Hooper gained notoriety and recognition for his 70s landmark horror flick, The Texas Chainsaw Massacre, released in 1974. He followed up The Texas Chainsaw Massacre with two varied but distinct horror flicks, the backwoods cult slasher Eaten Alive, and the made-for-TV hit Salem's Lot. Universal Pictures were interested in getting in the slasher business after the success of Friday the 13th. Purchasing a script by Larry Block, Universal hired director Tobe Hooper in his first big-budget studio film. The Funhouse for the longest time was an underrated and somewhat underappreciated slasher film. It has since garnered a cult following, and many horror fans today consider it one of the better slasher films from the early 80s. So let's take a look at this once discarded horror flick and see if there really is something alive in the Funhouse.
But there will be no escape, for there is no release from the Funhouse.
So, what about it? Huh?
After a weird fake-out scare involving a young boy pranking and fake-stabbing his naked sister in the shower, we are introduced to the film's lead, Amy. Hey, any movie that opens up with a titty shot is going to be a decent slasher in my book. Amy and her new boyfriend Buzz, along with another couple, have a double date to visit a traveling carnival. After attending a freak show and various other carnival attractions, the group of teenagers decide to spend the night in the Funhouse. After witnessing the murder of a prostitute fortune teller by a monstrous-looking freak, the teens are trapped in the Funhouse and hunted down one by one by the killer and his abusive carny father. Can the teens survive the Funhouse?
Tell me where my money is! Where is it? You tell me who got it!
The Funhouse is a well-made and memorable slasher that manages to deliver some nice frights and an uneasy atmosphere of dread. The Funhouse was not a movie we watched a lot growing up. As a kid, I loved funhouses and dark rides, but none of the video stores we frequented carried the movie, or I would have rented it for sure. I knew about it mostly from horror review books that I often collected and read, and of course, word of mouth. Sadly, I did not see the Funhouse till I was in my late teens, and I found it to be an engaging and solid horror outing. The Funhouse is not your typical slasher film in terms of plot, setting, or characters. The killer does wear a mask at the start of the film, and the movie does subtly poke fun at the slasher expectations in its opening prank, but the murderer here is known and seen, removing the whodunit aspect of most slashers. The film's plot is also original in terms of taking a known formula but choosing a setting that was not exploited by slashers up to that point, making the Funhouse a unique and original slasher. The characters are also a bit more developed than your average horror movie. This goes for both the protagonists and the killer carnies. The film sets up the motivation of the killers easily and effectively, but also makes the teen characters likable and not as dumb as your usual slasher fodder. I think the slow burn horror of the movie helps in this regard. You spend a good portion of the film's opening exploring the carnival with the couples and getting to know them a little bit better than your typical slasher victims, making the slashing and stalking later seem a bit more tense and compelling.
I pissed in my pants.
The special effects are well done for the era, and that monster dude does look creepy, and that howl he gives is unnerving. The body count isn't that high, and some slasher fans might find the first third of the movie to be a bit slow. But the movie does do a great job of building atmosphere and capturing this odd sense of dread in the opening runtime of the movie. Hell, this even extends to the unsettling and weird opening credits, which plays out over various Funhouse animatronics. The film score by John Beal is playful and underrated in my opinion. It manages to capture the spirit and zeal of a funhouse while still offering some tense and dramatic weight. The lead character of Amy is likable and resourceful, and as mentioned, any final girl who's willing to pull out her titties gets a thumbs up in my book. The supporting characters are all well defined, and I've always liked Cooper Huckabee as Buzz. Special shout out to Kevin Conway for playing multiple carny barkers as well as the killer's dad. He turns in a sinister and enjoyable performance. The Funhouse does feature a few apparent Hooper moments, like the odd but creepy scene where Amy's brother is scared by a random motorist, as well as the darkly humorous magician show gone wrong scene. Hooper has always injected his films with a sense of dark humor and morbid comedy, and these two scenes show that he finds humor in the horror. The movie is a suspenseful slasher that features a somewhat sympathetic villain, a fun premise, and good performances from the cast. The movie's finale is also tense and memorable.
That is a gruesome sight.
The Funhouse was made on a budget of $3 million and grossed $7.8 million during its initial theatrical run in the spring of 1981. It was met with mixed to positive reviews from the critics at the time, and the success of the Funhouse helped lead to Hooper getting hired to direct 1982's Poltergeist. I always found the film's theatrical release poster to be kind of odd because that's not the face of the killer, and it kind of looks like a Killer 8 movie or something. In retrospect, I'm sure not using the killer's face in the poster probably helped the reveal scene in the movie be that much more shocking. Legacy-wise, the Funhouse tends to get overlooked by Hooper and horror fans, most likely because it gets sandwiched between two well-known films in pop culture. I believe the Funhouse is still an underrated slasher film despite it garnering a cult status, as well as being a box office success. If you haven't seen it or haven't seen it in a while, I recommend checking it out this October. But remember, you'll pay to get in and pray to get out.
Don't come back or I'll break every bone in your fucking body.
It's after 9. Listen, I don't know where you're going tonight, but I don't want you going to that damn carnival. It's the same one that went through Fairfield last year when they found the bodies of those 2 little girls in Parsons Creek.
I just want to say a quick thanks to everyone who's been watching the Monster Mash mini reviews this October. It's been fun shooting this shit and discussing these movies and horror in general with you guys in the comments. Sincerely engaging with you guys in the comments does make October more fun and festive for me. So thanks for watching, and also thanks for dogging out that like button. It means a lot to me and I appreciate the support. I hope you all are having a spooky and fun October.